it's great to challenge yourself and to push new limits and go to different heights, you know what I'm saying, and be tough on yourself. Mm-hmm. But you also got to give yourself some grace. Like that's where that balance come in. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be your worst enemy and your biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? Like
dude, that's how I get.
You know what I'm saying?
I turn into my worst. Yeah. It's like I'm trying so much I end up being my worst enemy, bro.
But you being two different people. You know, I feel like we talk to ourselves more than anybody else talk to us.
Yeah.
So you got to give yourself that grace, man. You got to speak life into you more than anybody else going to be speaking life into you. Because I guarantee you, somebody else, they care about themselves more than they care about you.
Yeah.
So if you down to you all the time, how's that going to make you feel? Down, depressed. Oh my goodness, now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. Now I got to revert to this. Versus like, man, like if I'm like, okay, I didn't fail. Okay, I'm not the only person to fail. You know what I'm saying? Okay, how I get up out of this? You know what I'm saying? Who I need to talk to get up out of this? You know what I'm saying? Like
a lawyer usually, but hey.
Hopefully we don't have to get to no legal action.
That's what it is. we trying to stay out of some legal action, man.
You gotta stay up out of them. I'm just talking about self-esteem. Like what Cat Williams said, it's called self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you got to lift yourself up, man. You got to give yourself life.
That's a good point, huh? Yeah, I think I wonder, sometimes it's hard for me to see what the conversation I'm having with myself is. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because I say it like this. Why do we give other people better advice than we give ourselves?
I know.
It's like we cancel ourselves out because we don't listen to ourselves. So when we not listen to ourselves, how do we expect to hear ourselves when we in this funk? Or we in this like this mode where we about to turn up, we about to go into somebody's head. We mad. You know what I'm saying? We not hearing ourselves. We just reacting in a default. We're not being on purpose. Yeah. We're not being intentional. You know what I'm saying? We just like a little kid, we having a anxiety attack or we spazzing out. You know, all of us have those moments, but the ones that are able to, you know, look at those moments, reflect on those moments, and build off those moments, and not let those moments destroy them. Like them, the ones that end up being successful.
It's interesting, huh? So much of that war is really it's a peace talk, but you have to bring yourself to the table. That's the tough. Sometimes I have tough times in that moment of like, this is how I feel right now. And instead of bringing myself to the table, I'll just walk out and start, you know, executing a plan. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really, I haven't really brought myself into a place of like, okay, how do I do this best for me and for others and for, you know. Yeah, sometimes that's a thing that I struggle with a lot sometimes. Comfort really can be your coffin, you know, I know that. Mm-hmm. It can get real easy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Challenging yourself, accepting challenges. But then there is that fear that comes with it. And it's like, how do I manage the fear while I'm doing this new thing, while I'm going this way, right?
Yeah. But Joe, he was telling me something because I'm talking about like communicating with people. And he was like, man, when you have that fear, it's better to do than be scared.
Because you scared, you just sitting there.
Yeah, you just sitting there, you just thinking. And like he told me, I was like, dang, Joe, like, what you doing giving me advice for, man? Like, just do. And once you start doing, like, eventually that fear start being in that rearview mirror, and you just leave it. You leave it there.
Yeah, because a lot of times, man, there'll be opportunities, and I get so fearful. I stand there like this, like Barry Sanders, and then I don't pick nothing.
He went standing. He was cut and moving and getting north and south.
But I was just a side to side. You know, I just feel like this, and then the opportunities will disappear because I didn't make a choice.
Yeah,
that happens. That's happened to me before in life. You know, where it's like I just instead of just going, because if you go, you might realize one is wrong, and you could get both of them, and see and find the right one.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need that shift, that paradigm shift to like challenge us, to put us in a new environment, you know?
Yeah, I feel that a lot, man. I feel that even as like there are moments in my own life and career where things have been going well. And then there's moments where things feel like they haven't, my perception of things is that they haven't been going well. And man, sometimes I get scared of how I behave when things aren't going well. Or the feelings that come up, the fears that like take over how I operate, or I'll get into like not as much a desperation mode because I've had some experience with some of it now, but I do get into, the first thing to leave is my faith or confidence that things are going to be okay a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels scary.
Well, I think like the fear part is that's what grabs you. You know, that's what puts you in that fight or flight stage. But when you said faith, like faith is the first thing that you should hold on to, because faith is really the things that you believe in that you have not seen. Like typically when you experience pain, it's something that you have experienced, you've seen it, it's happened to you. And I think that's why I'm always in this position, because my faith allows me to hope for more, to want more, right? And to dig in even deeper. You know, I feel like when you think of a seed, right? Everybody look at a seed like let's do an acorn. Mm-hmm. Like you look at an acorn,
it's a seed.
It's a seed. It's a good seed too. And acorns turn to oak trees. You know what I'm saying? Did you know that?
That's a good point.
Right. So that seed, but for that seed to grow into what it needs to become, it has to break. Like that seed has to be broken, right? And then it has to get rooted. So before it sprouts up, it has to go down into the earth and establish a foundation. So when you think about challenges, right, it's telling you, like, it's the Lord telling you, like, hey man, like we're gonna have a shift. You got to get rooted in the real foundation, which is me, right? Which is the Lord, which is Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's your foundation.
Yeah.
And before you can grow up, right, you're gonna have some little seedlings, like you're gonna have a little cracks in here. You might have a little bird trying to come and snatch you out.
Yeah.
But through that trial, right, you're gonna be able to turn into this beautiful oak tree, and you're gonna be able to be fruitful and give to others through your testimony, through your experiences. And when you view it from that perspective, now that fear isn't as frightening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel that.
And when we talk about like as kids, the reason we're fearless as kids, because we know we're going to get another opportunity. We know, okay, if we get scrubbed on the football field, okay, we got tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as adults, those little pains that we get, you know, those little failures, they eat at us, and we start questioning ourselves like, wow, like, are they better than me? Or like, am I missing something that I used to have? But as a kid, just like, man, I'm proud of the moment. Like, we out here again, y'all. Like, we live and local. Back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm here. But as adults, it's those conditions, man. Like,
yeah, the conditions change, because when you're a child, you really have so much blind faith, don't you? Even if as a kid you don't perceive it as faith in a higher power, you just feel it as faith that you're going to have another opportunity you got the next day. Wow, it's really crazy how much that changes over time. Because, it's the conditions that change.
Yeah.
Perspective is so much of life I learned is about perspective, man. Yeah. If you could show up really with a gratitude and really with the perspective that there's possibility at any moment, it changes everything. Yeah, you become a beacon. You become a light bug for other people at that point.
No, well, what we call to be, you know, the light of the earth, you know. So I think when you in that role, it's not your job to see like, are they doing what I'm doing? Or am I doing what they doing? It's your job to see, man, how can I perfect what I'm doing to encourage somebody else to perfect what they doing so they can be their best self?
Wow.
You know, like, and I think that we get so much, like, because we all competing, right? We all chasing this rat race. We all chasing something that's greater than us, right? But a lot of times we're so busy looking at other people running their race instead of focusing on the race that you got to run.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I've learned through experience, because experience through like certain conditions, circumstances, and facts, like that's what creates perspective. You know, that's what gives people that wisdom, you know, because they went through something.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, I'm always hanging around, you know, like you saw, I call him my granddad. I'm always hanging around people that are wise, that are older, because their experiences is freaking gold, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like they've been through so much stuff and they've overcome so many different things.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Bro, the slowest way to learn is through your experience. So why not pick somebody else's brain? Why not learn or hang around somebody that's an old
Get a
head?
senior citizen, yeah.
You know,
bring a couple owls with you.
Senior citizen, yeah, that's person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I use that all the time. Childhood. When you get out of that kid stage and you an adult, ain't nobody looking at you like, oh, he mustn't had a father in his life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They looking at you like, on to the next one.
Time to grow up.
For real. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. I think there's aspects of my life where I think I was like a late bloomer too, like realizing a lot of stuff and getting past like a lot of childhood stuff. But I certainly feel like I'm at a point now where I want to grow up more in some areas, you know? And I pray, that's what I pray about each day. I pray that God makes me more willing to advance in some of these places and to let go of some resentments and help like soften some of the discomfort that I have in places. Yeah. Because sometimes there's things that are still hooking you to your past, you know? Right. And it's like sometimes it's hard to get, you know, like when you have you had a boat dock and you got the things tied up and some drunk guy tied the one and he tied a damn Christmas bow on it or something you can't get. Sometimes it's like I got those.
I really believe we have certain curses that are on us that were put on us through our family, through generations. Yeah. You know, of them, you know, living a life. But I also believe in that bondage, that true peace. And, you know, again, let's talk about our faith. Let's talk about accepting our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man, and being separated from all that bondage and realizing like it is my life that I am free from everything that I feel like is holding me back to go do what I need to do for this world, for me. Yeah. You know, and I know it's tough. Like
no, I know you're not saying it's possible for everybody easily, but it's something we have to hear, and that's why I'm listening to you say it. I'm happy to hear it today. It's a message that I need to be reminded of, and I think it's why you're even saying it right now, and we're in the same space because I need to be reminded of that. That how long do I want to sit and look at the chains instead of look out the window? Yeah, come on, you know, like how Like at a certain point, even my eyes are tired of looking at those chains. And if you only look at yourself as a victim, then it's impossible to really advance yourself for anybody. Like if I only look at the parts of me that, like if I only see myself as a victim, right? And that's all I see myself as, it's gonna be really hard for me to have new opportunity because I don't have any perspective. I won't even see opportunity if it shows up.
Man, I learned this like I was talking to one of my mentors and he shared this with me, and it kind of changed my perspective. He was like, "You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are." Is that your perspective? Like we all think like, "Oh, I'm this type of person," but we're not thinking about the stuff that we put into our mind on a daily basis. Like what we think and what we set our attention to is really what we are. Not what we may think how people view us or how we may even view ourselves, but what we thinking like poor, like being poor, like that's a mentality. Being rich, that's a mentality. Like these people just got, like Meek Mill said, like it's levels to it. Like when you have a poor mindset, like man, that's struggle. That's hurt. That's pain. But man, I done seen people like with no shoes, toes coming out their shoes that are happier than ever. Yeah. I done seen people with no shoes.
At the beach, yeah.
No, bro. I done seen people with no shoes, man. I'm talking about little kids.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
No shoes, man.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Because what they're thinking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I've gone to some different places like India, different places, and you see these kids show up and they're just living. Man, you're like, I wish I could be as happy as this kid.
Yes, man.
I like that, man. You just kind of make your choices and that's it for you, you know? It seemed like your self-confidence is is really unique compared to other people, man. Yeah. Were you always like that, do you feel like? Or was that something that was kind of built? Or do you think it was just a gift that you had?
I feel like it's still growing. I've always been confident in myself, but more importantly, in my faith. You know what I'm saying? Like I was rooted in the church, like old Southern Baptist.
From when you were little?
Like, from when I was little. Like, but when I actually started to know God and I started to understand like that I'm fighting from victory, not for victory. Like then I took a different approach. I took a different approach to the way that I live. I see. And I think it's like the accumulation of really who you surround yourself with, like seeing other people that's like walking like firm, that are strong brothers, and that ain't like lukewarm. Like that gives you that confidence. Like that gives you that affirmation to be like, okay, like man, I need to, like, what am I doing? Like you said, you question yourself. It's been a lot of times where I've questioned myself. It's been a lot of times in the NFL where I just like, man, like who am I? Like what I got going on? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I had to dig deep and just be like, okay, like this is who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
get back to your the foundation. What is my foundation? If I don't believe in this foundation that I built, then why did I even build it then?
Right.
Why you have to? Yeah.
I'm not here for no reason.
Right.
I'm here for a purpose, my own unique purpose. Right. So I gotta live it. You know what I'm
Dang, man. I might try out for somebody.
saying? You can do it, bro.
Yeah, the Colts might need someone. I don't know who needs somebody right now.